So a lot of you guys are obviously tuning into my content on TikTok, YouTube, and getting your emails and your comments. And a lot of it's the same thing. So most of the time, we really do know what we need to do. It's just a case of whatever reason we're not doing that. The real question is, why is that? And sometimes it can come down to bad habits. Sometimes it can come down to not motivated, even though I hate that word. We could be quite lazy. Ultimately, you need a system in place, a system and a process, and that will help build discipline. A lot of people talk about you need to be disciplined. Of course you do. But for most people, that's not something that you can just click your fingers and then get some results. It's not the case at all. So what we can do to help overcome that, and this is probably the first step, you want to build a good foundation, right? A house will collapse without a good foundation. It's the same with the body. So all you guys tuning in, checking into like my mindset, like motivation and my sort of insights and ideologies and views and perception, that's one thing. But what you need to start doing now is building a good foundation. So you're starting to get the idea of where we need to be. Now it's just a case of getting there. And we need to lay out that roadmap. Okay, so we're talking about programming. So we talk about AI and all that sort of stuff, but the reality is the most like powerful machine is the mind. Because look, at the end of the day, say what you want about AI, it was man-made. A computer didn't make a computer. And what we have in between our skull is a really powerful machine. And let's think about how we can program our mind to then help with our lifestyle, also to help with our career goals, our aspiration, and obviously conquering the world in, you know, whatever that looks like to yourself, whatever your desires are. And let's start back to basics then. All successful people will tell you three things that are absolutely a staple in what they do. And I'm not going to tell you anything that's any different. Number one, it's going to be sleep. You need to be well rested. So, you know, if you're one of those people who are sleeping out at sort of 1, 2 o'clock a.m., you're waking up 11, 12, midday, that's not a recipe for success. You know, you want to switch off before midnight and you want to rise when the sun rises. So circa 5 to 6 a.m. is usually a good start for productivity. And also synchronizing your body with nature. Just use common sense. The sun goes down, it's dark, that's, you know, releases signals to your brain to say, you know what, it's probably time to start shutting down the body. The sun comes up, the sun starts to rise. It does send those same signals when you physically like visualize them to start waking up. Common sense. So depending on what country you're in, you know, 5, 6 a.m. I'm currently in the UK is the time for me, and of course it can vary different times of the year, but the point being is you need to have quality sleep. 5 to 6 hours is providing it's quality sleep will be sufficient, but anything less than that you're going to be running on E and you're not going to be able to focus. So number one, good quality sleep. But things like your mobile phone, you know, unless you've got important business and you're making money in that particular time, if you're just messing around on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, put it down at least sort of 30 to 60 minutes before you're going to sleep. Also as well, think about, you know, do some cardio, maybe a light workout, nothing too intense, just to tire your body if you're not used to, you know, switching off at a certain time. And also think about the time you eat. You know, 7, 8 p.m. is probably the sweet spot. Anything later, it can disrupt sleep and obviously digestion and things like that. So for me, eat about 7, 8 p.m, maybe a light bit of cardio, no later than 10 a.m, circa half an hour. Following that, it's time to switch off, and that gives you a good sort of 6 to 8 hours to rest. So sleep is number one. Then you've got your diet as well. So to be optimal in business or even in like a career or even at university if you're there, what you put in your body is so imperative. If you're running off sugars, if you're running off like soda, you're putting your body in a war zone essentially. You're feeding it toxins, and there's plenty of challenges in the world as it is in business, education. The last thing you want to do is have your body going against you, fighting against you because of what you're choosing to put in your body, right? So your diet needs to be absolutely on point. Again, you can reach out if you want, some support with a tailored nutrition plan, but just be mindful of what you're putting in your body. I love intermittent fasting. 1 or 2 meals a day is optimal for people that are high performance and want to get stuff done, and it allows a lot of time for productivity. I can't see like a time in my life where I'll be having breakfast again, because I don't see how I'd get anything done. So think about nutrition, put quality food. And another advantage of intermittent fasting, if you're only eating a couple of meals a day, I absolutely guarantee you'll be a lot more mindful in terms of what you consume. So again, you don't want any digestive issues. Obviously, given that I'm strongly assuming that my viewers are in the gym, you're training, think about replenishing your body as well with essential macronutrients, essential fats, protein, carbohydrates, etc. So be mindful of what you're putting in your body. If you're pushing your body hard, if you're getting just about enough rest, and then you're just eating some trash for food, sugar, donuts, average person's diet, then again, you're not going to be optimal, and that's not going to help in terms of getting you to where you need to be. And I know you're looking for like a secret formula or something magical that's never been heard of before, but it really is back to basics. Good rest, good nutrition. And then number 3 is your training as well, to supplement everything in its entirety. And of course, it's all synergistic, isn't it? Good training, good nutrition, good sleep. And also what you're doing, right, is because you're being mindful in all these aspects, these 3 key fundamentals, you're then telling your body that actually I do care about myself, and I do want to be elite, I do want to be advanced, I want to be ahead of my peers, I want to look at any sort of competitive advantage. You're subconsciously creating that mindset, and you're not just creating it, you're living it as well. And every day that you continue the cycle, right, you're going to have more and more confidence, because when you're well rested, of course, if your work involves getting in front of a computer, getting it done, then you're going to get it done because you're going to be energized and focused. Of course, if you're training, you're going to be strong, you're going to be confident, and you're going to look good, and you're going to feel good. You're going to see yourself in the mirror every single day, and that's going to compound, isn't it? Day in, day out, and you're going to have those effects. And of course, nutrition as well. Eating clean, eating healthy, getting the maximum results from your training, getting that recovery, and also not creating any extra stress for the body. So nothing too exciting here. It's back to the basics, but sometimes basics people don't even know and often overlook. A lot of the time, people will spend hundreds of pounds a month on supplements, protein powders. I see it myself. I see people walk into like a Holland and Barrett and pick up a tub of protein and look at the back of it, read all the stats, and which one's a creatine, and and you look at them, they look terrible, and they're picking up things like energy bars. Rather than spending a few £100 a month on supplements, if you're that serious about your training, your nutrition, drop me a DM or send me an email, and we'll see if we can work together. But my point is, everything needs to be dialed in, right? And this is part of the habit process. When you create a system and a structure, so for example, you switch off, let's just say midnight, you're up at 6 a.m, you're training by 7 a.m, for example, first meal's at midday, last meal's at 7 p.m, you're starting to create a habit which is very structured, so then you can plan and interject the different things that you've got going on in that day, so that way you can ensure that you get done what you need to get done, and you're servicing your body as well. Because in business and being successful, it comes down to stress management. And if you put your body through the right stress, i.e. working out and training, that's positive and you get positive results, versus bad stress, for example, putting bad foods in your body and making yourself have extra stress in your digestive system and things like that. That's not going to be optimal. So think about this in terms of what the whole process should look like, and all in all, it's just systems and processes. Compound good habits. If you're going to sleep at night at 10, put your phone down at 9:30. If you plan at training at 5:30, 6 a.m, guess what? Get your gym gear ready the day before. If you want to hydrate first thing in the morning, which you absolutely should do, 500 mils of water, dash of pink Himalayan salt, quick spin, bang, done. Squeeze the lemon juice for good measure. Once this becomes like second nature in your mind, you're not having to think about things that are not important, in the sense of these things are not making you money. Of course they're important, but in a different way. So then you can use your brain capacity on more important things like day-to-day business operations. So think about compounding all these habits and think about the system, the process. And again, if you really want to be optimal, I'm sure you're following, the ETX program and seeing, my changes day in and day out. But if you want to take things to the next level, stop wasting money on supplements, dial in with a nutrition plan based on your goals, based on your lifestyle, what's feasible for you. Like myself, have you got a personal chef? If that's not your, current situation, and you want to meal prep, what meals are going to be optimal for your requirements, but then also what's going to be easy for you to put together, so you can meal prep on a Sunday or whatever. So we can fine tune that, and then following that with a training plan to complement your goals. For me, it's all about strength conditioning. So mostly full body workouts. And for me, I want to be functional in the sense of, being able to do day-to-day activities, maintaining a good frame. I don't want to look like Popeye, but I want to look like a very built, strong person. So again, for me, strength and conditioning, it goes hand in hand. You want to be strong, but you still want to be able to run 5 kilometers. You want good cardio health as well. So back to basics today. Think about these principles that I've mentioned and the 3 key things: sleep, nutrition, and then obviously your training. And once you get this compounded in, once you have a system and a structure in place where you know when you're going to sleep, you know when you're going to eat, you know when you're going to train, that's going to help map your day. So you'll have at least 12 hours in where you can use that time to make money and grow personally and professionally, and do whatever it is you need to do. If you want to find out more about a customized nutrition plan, and you want to learn more about how I could potentially help you, check it out. Send me a DM. There should be a link somewhere in the bio. Follow along with the ETX plan. If you are serious about getting stuff done, it's like the old saying goes, you have to pay attention. If you want anything that's worth having, you have to pay for. I've got a very reasonable offer at the moment with the ETX program for a limited time, just whilst we're getting started. And I've got a limited capacity in terms of how many people I can manage, because at the end of the day, I've got other things to do. So if you are serious, put down that mobile phone and delete that Deliveroo app where you're about to waste 50 quid. Scrap that off. Come have a chat with me. I'll see if you're a good fit for me, and we can go from there. But failing that, if you want to do it solo, do your thing. But think about the 3 things we've discussed: eating, sleeping, and training. There's one thing though that I will say that you don't have going for you, and that's time. Because number one, if you was where you wanted to be, you probably wouldn't be here listening to me. So if I knew what I knew now from a training, nutrition, business principle mindset 15 years ago, I'd be on planet Mars doing my own thing. So the point I'm making is, invest in yourself in the right pockets. Don't try and be like a nerd or a geek and try and, spend all your day trying to research everything. If you don't know, you don't know. Go to a professional like myself, get what you need to get done, follow it through, apply it, consolidate that time that you've saved by getting the right information that's tailored to yourself, and then put it in day by day. So eat, sleep, train, repeat.